There will be no real non-controlled currency in the world.
We're coming for you, banks.
Listening to different podcasts, like in a whole different reality, which they think completely different things about Bitcoin.
They have got my money in their banking system. I should be able to access it, right?
Appler is live.
There's a good number of fucking, like, pretty smart Bcashers.
All right, hello and welcome back to the Bitcoin Cash podcast, following Bitcoin Cash on its rise to global reserve currency. Not too much following the rise to global reserve currency today, but we will do a little bit. This is episode number 158, off-topic chat, featuring Halvor, Luke, Fiendish, and Calin, who is yet to appear, but will no doubt intrude momentarily. Today is Sunday, the 24th of August, 2025. I'm your host, Jeremy. Jet is doing the producing. Here he is. We had our... Hey, Calin. Good to see you. All right, perfect. Right in time. We're just doing the
wizard
price.
is never late.
That's right, exactly. ETH is hitting all-time highs, USD $592.42, which is flat. One BTC sat buys 193.5 BCH sats, up slightly, and one ETH buys, I forgot to even check, but ETH is at all-time highs, so we're down on the ratio there. Selene, 30-day, 567 users, and the Tokenaut TBL, 11,425 BCH. A quick mention of the listener survey. You could go to bitcoincashpodcast.com/survey and fill out 20 questions. Our guests can even do it live on air if they want. It's very quick, 5 minutes, and put your thoughts in on what's happening in BCH. And also the BCH Bullet. We've launched a new weekly bullet point bulletin. You can find that at thebchbullet.substack.com, the second edition I put out earlier today. Right, we have 4 guests today. I know I had some listeners that were a little skeptical about doing an off-topic episode, but consider it an experiment. We'll see how it goes, and can't be just focused on BCH all the time, you know. Got to have a little fun as well. So we have Halvor, Fiendish, Luke, and Calin. And just before we get into it, I do want to get a quick temperature check from each of you on how BCH is doing just in the first couple of minutes. So starting with you, Fiendish, BCH back under 200 to 1 with BTC, Blaze announced. How you feeling? How's BCH doing at the moment?
Yeah, I think
Just
I wrote
got
it
funded
just.
as well.
Yeah,
Congrats.
yeah, cool. Bitcoin Cash OG is just being funded for 3 months of marketing excellence. So looking forward to that. Yeah, as I wrote just a couple of days ago, it's like there is too much going on to keep up with all the movements in Bitcoin Cash. And what I love is from so many different stakeholders. There's just so much development going on, so much movement. Yeah, BCH Blaze, is something that's long overdue. Hackathon within Bitcoin Cash, also organized by the BCH Bliss guys, which is this yearly conference which everyone's excited about. So right now, more your money, and I love what you guys are doing and trying to get adoption there, and having some sort of some promotions to go and get people onboarding shops to accept Moria USD. Yeah, there's so much going on. I think Bitcoin Cash has never looked so good. I think I've said that many times, and it's true, because with each month, with each year, things just keep on improving, not just the technology, which we already know is the best money out there, but more importantly is the network around it, the people around it, and the products around it are just growing and accelerating like never before. So super, super bullish. And when I look at BCH Bull and I see that right now you get a premium if you long BCH, it makes me think, Jesus, guys, what am I missing here? What do you know that I don't? Because right now I'm longing BCH and I'm pretty bullish on the rest of the year. So that's my intro. BCH is in a great spot, and the best is yet to come.
Well, they just released the 6-month contracts. I think that might be part of the reason, because maybe they had demand for those 6-month hedges, because again, people are starting to think on longer and longer time frames. I actually put some sats into those longs and got it like nearly a 10% premium actually yesterday and earlier today. So yeah, loving it. Absolutely crushing it.
What do you reckon, Luke? When BCH is at 10,000 in 6 months, will Jeremy be crying? Do we get to record it live?
No, I'll be fine. I want it to go up. I have a short and a long open at the moment, so I don't know exactly how I'm positioned, but it'll be fine either way. It'll be all right.
Very good.
Luke, where are you at? How are you feeling about BCH these days?
I'm feeling good about it. I think we're in a good place. Just time itself, I think, heals a lot of things. And the fact that a lot of the forks now, like BSV, are basically non-existent. I think that helps the image quite a bit. And then things like Moria money, these are extremely useful to me. Moria money by far is the most useful tool I've had on BCH. When I need some money, I don't sell my BCH. I just put it on Moria money, then I loan myself money. It's extremely useful for me. It's a very powerful tool. And yeah, so I think we're in a good place. We're still kind of flying under the radar. That'll probably change with time as well, I think. But for now, I think it's a good place to be. The community really makes a coin, and we've proven that BCH has a very resilient community, having been through everything that BCH has been through. And now I think we're starting to come to the other side of it. And I'm excited for the future.
We're less and less under the radar, though. I mean, people are now starting to notice, I don't think that's gone like mainstream just yet, but people aren't trying to argue with, BCH people on social media that much, and they haven't for a while. And what that means is two things. It means some of the, we've kind of already hit the max in terms of people that want to block and mute and pretend that we're not existing. There's not any more of them. We're capped out. And the ones who are still keeping an eye on it, they don't want to say anything because they know they're going to look stupid. Like if they come in too hard, but at the same time, they're not convinced enough, maybe they start picking up some themselves, but they haven't started coming out vocally, like hedging their bets. Like, oh, guys, BCH is looking pretty good. That's the next thing we'll see. People start hedging their bets. I feel like we haven't got to that point yet, but we're maybe 6 to 12 months away from a few mentions. That's what I would predict. Calin, where are you at with BCH?
I'm working on the technical aspect of improving the protocol and the future upgrades that are coming in 2026, and those are looking really solid. We've got several chips, as they're called, activating hopefully in 2026, it looks like they're locked in pretty much, and those are gonna unleash a lot of smart contract capabilities for BCH to make it look even more attractive to people and get us even more out of the radar, in the radar. But just to back up a second, yeah, I don't about being under the radar. That's actually can be a good thing, because then you have freedom of movement when you don't have saboteurs showing up. I mean, who knows if we got 10x on, everyone starts paying attention, the CIA shows up or whatever and starts sabotaging. I mean, like it's good that we can get all the technical stuff in now, because at least that part will be even more solid. It should anything
I agree with
happen
that.
to these, and I think the community, thanks for agreeing with that. And I think the community is really, really healthy now. I see a lot of positive vibes. A lot of the toxic stuff is gone. It's just great to see everybody, solving problems through discussion rather than, other methods. And yeah, I mean, I feel really, optimistic about the future with BCH. It's going to be interesting. And once we get on the radar more, like it'll be kind of interesting, because Bitcoin Cash will be like the fresh version of Bitcoin, the one that actually works and that is, interesting and cool. And I can see that happening in the future. I'd like all the technical stuff to be, we're still doing upgrades. Like we're a little bit, I feel like Bitcoin development has been handicapped for years, sort of intentionally, and I sort of we're catching up to where Bitcoin should be, Bitcoin Cash should be, and then we're ready for everything. So
how far are we from that? Like, because one thing I've noticed is, I mean, you say, okay, the 2026 upgrades may be going to help the like DeFi smart contracting stuff, but at a high level, that's also true of that's Velma, right? That's what we said about Velma, and that's also sort of true of cash tokens, and even of the 2022 and earlier upgrades, even though people maybe weren't as aware of those, who are listening to this show now, right? So at what point does it become, okay, we've got all the smart contract and DeFi upgrades in, and there's not more upgrades to make more smart contracts?
It's a very good question, yeah, because with each of those upgrades that you mentioned, it was sort of steps along the way to get it to the point where like even Ethereum people would be super attracted. Everything they can do there, they can do on Bitcoin Cash. So it's all been steps along the way. That's a very good question. When are we done? When does it end? What is, there's an old Arab saying is that you never finish building your house, and once you do, you can die or something. There's like, but I feel like
there's another saying that perfection is the enemy of good.
Yeah.
Also, just there's a lot of engineer types in BCH who just want to make perfect money, and of course, perfection is impossible. We can always improve it, and it's to basically have a real firm understanding of when. You're saying it's good to be under the radar, which I think is good. I also agree to a certain point, but there is a point also where, all right, now it's time to flip open the lid and explode Bitcoin Cash into the world. When is that point?
I feel like 2027 is the upgrades that are coming, that would come then, because then the smart contract stuff will be done. Maybe we'll get 1 minute block time, so there won't be anyone there to sabotage that. Like what I'm most worried about is what we've seen with the social attacks on Bitcoin, where the saboteurs showed up and then nothing. And I feel like with with stuff that people have in mind for 2027, that's what we can say it's good. maybe at the latest 2028. But yeah.
Do you want to weigh in quickly on the functions? That's also been recently something that you've been obviously heavily involved in, and there still seems like if anything is borderline or in doubt at the moment, it would be that. What's your thinking there?
Yeah, I mean, functions, we're going to definitely get them. It's just a question of whether they'll be restricted to not be able to do meta programming, is what some people are calling it, or not. I feel like we're going to get functions in 2026. It's just whether they can do meta programming or not do meta programming. I feel like that's what the consensus is going towards with the people. That,
and which side of the debate do you fall on there?
I fall on the side of sort of Jason's proposal. Jason Dresner is the one who proposed his original proposal without the restrictions, allowing metaprogramming. I don't feel like there's any risk there, but I could be wrong. I'm glad people do have an intuition about it and feel that there might be a risk, and that they're sort of adamant about their beliefs. It could be that I'm wrong. I don't think there's a risk, but
so to steel man their position, what are they worried about?
They're worried about sort of. It's hard to understand their position fully from my point of view, but it is a good exercise to steel man people's position. I think that they feel that you're unleashing a sort of a class of contract that people can write that's really obfuscated and really potentially buggy. Like you're opening up avenues. When you do metaprogramming, you have like code that writes code, and you're opening up avenues for sort of unexpected behavior in contracts. So someone could like create a contract that's difficult to audit because it's like all about code that writes code, and you never know what the hell's going to happen. And that guy could be like a scammer. He could rug pull people could be having their money in this contract, and then the rug pulls everybody because surprise, surprise. And so I think that's one of the things that worries people, that it gets more difficult to audit contracts when you can have code that writes code that writes code that writes code. It's like it's codeception, But like the thing is, what you can say to counteract that is that if the contract looks fishy, don't like the best contracts.
Don't put your money in.
Yeah. I mean, the best ones are the ones you can understand easily. If it looks like there's all this codeception going on, what the hell's that? It's a red flag. It's like, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to steal man, and then I steal man, and then I argue against it. But
it can also be handled with the wallets, right? So you can have wallets that just handle like simple contract or contracts that it knows and understands and can validate. And you can have your sort of Wild West wallets, which, hey, anything goes, and let the free market decide on that.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I mean, maybe I'm not doing a fair job of steel manning their position. But that's how I understood it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. I agree with you, Fiendish. That's exactly the point. Like, the standard contracts will be simple and won't have this problem. So, yeah.
Let me ask you a question about that. So compared to like the EVM, for example, wouldn't our script system still be far less foot gunny than like all the problems you could potentially run into with EVM?
I think so. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Then I don't really see that argument. I don't understand that argument.
Yeah.
EVM's the most widely used virtual machine in crypto by orders of magnitude.
And it's very complex, and it's got formal verification tools, even though it's a complex language. So
right.
And so like if you can do that, if you can do formal verification tools for EVM that are reasonable, like you can do them for something that's less complex that can be equally capable. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to sound like I'm pushing, because I don't want to piss off people that are against the functions chip as it was proposed. I don't want them to become my enemies. So I don't want to sound like, like I'm just I mean, I'm just, I don't know. Yeah, never mind.
It's important we have this discussion, though. And I mean, I think I'm also on the side of limiting the power at the VM level is not the place to do it. You can do it in the tooling. You could do it in the wallets. You can also do it at the consumer level, which is just, if you're an idiot, then don't go like clicking around on the most weirdest contracts that you don't know what they're about. Like, that's obvious. And if you do, and you rug yourself by putting all your, like, you can never solve human stupidity, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can always scam people no matter what you do. Like, you can't, scammers will exist. Not that you can always, but scammers will always exist, and they'll attempt to attack. And usually the social engineering aspect is the stronger way to scam anyway. Like,
that's right.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm not doing a good job of steel manning their arguments, and I apologize to the people that are watching that are on the other side of the debate. And I sincerely apologize if I didn't do a good job portraying your argument. That's how I understood it, at least. That it's sort of a new class of, you're opening up a new class of problems with the script. So, they were afraid of that. So,
yes.
Yeah, I apologize if I didn't do a good job. I would actually welcome a more articulate argumentation than I've given. But yeah.
But you're feeling like we're going to get on board with some kind of functions, maybe even a more limited version.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of discussion about one that then can be upgraded later.
Yeah.
Ones that's,
so you restrict them. Yeah, you restrict them so it's impossible for code that writes code, and then you lift the restriction later. So then everything's backwards compatible, and it's like a smooth upgrade path. You're not like in a technical debt situation where you're stuck. Yeah. That's sort of the way that's been put forward. That's been presented, and it's probably going to be so we'll see what happens. I mean, I think it's fine.
All right.
I think if we get the more restricted functions, it'll just be like kind of and aesthetically to me, it's like awkward. Like, why do you have these restrictions here? All right, whatever. I mean, and people will forget about it, and we may never even lift the restrictions. They make it turn out that metaprogramming isn't a big deal, and there's no point. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Fair enough. Halvor, let me get you in here. What's your vibe overall on BCH? How you feeling at the moment?
Yeah, man, I agree with Calin here, and I always listen to Arab sayings. I mean, it guys of BCH and the entire crypto industry. It's a very, very interesting point in time right now. What the maximalists call BCH truthers, blockstream truthers, etc. Like that would be some kind of a slur to care about the truth. That if you read the Bitcoin white paper, it basically resembles BTC to a 0 degree. This has come up fruition right now. It's been years and years and years and years, and fucking years, where it's been like talking to a wall Right now, we see people like Michael Bonds of Cyber Capital writing stuff like BTC will never be money. Famous people doing big hedge funds writing, yeah, we know that BTC will never be money. We know this.
Well, they're happy about that. Yeah.
And yeah. Now the jig is fucking up. Can I curse? On the
Yeah.
podcast?
Go ahead. Whatever.
Yeah,
You just did.
the jig is fucking up. So it's a very interesting point in time right now, because people are starting to learn this. Obviously, many people, they have just learned about Bitcoin. So for them, the fact that the word gold is not named one single place in the Bitcoin white paper, it's maybe
I think
not
that's
that
true.
weird,
But
right? It's maybe not that weird. So right now, it's a very, very interesting point in time. The jig is slowly going up. It's like cracks where even the normies can look through the cracks and lies of Michael Saylor and other suit-wearing bullshit scam artists who's basically using the whole earth as exit liquidity and don't care one
That's a good way
single
to put
shit
it.
about making a better place on this earth, banking the 2 billion unbanked people, making good sound money. Thank you guys, of course. Thank you so much for what you said, the kind words you said about Moria, and I'm very happy about you using it. So yeah, it's a very, very interesting time, and it's obviously a bull market, so it's very good. I love every single day. Every single day I wake up, I'm so fucking happy. I call Dagger. We're so happy. We go to work. He's in Trondheim. I'm in Oslo with most of our shadow wizards, and yeah, it's just so fucking good. Every day we get messages from new people from new countries. Almost every day, actually, a new country. We get messages from people saying how they use Moria, how they use it to give either money to their friends, their family, buy stuff. I'm so happy about the state of Bitcoin Cash right now, and I feel actually like this is how Bitcoin was in 2016, etc. Because it just fucking works. And when you speak to normies, like the normies were in 2016, they're like, "Oh yeah, the Visa card works much better," and it's just because of a lack of knowledge and some, yeah, just lack of knowledge about Bitcoin at that time. And today, this is Bitcoin Cash. Normies right now, they say, hey, BTC, it works. Ethereum works. Solana works. It fucking doesn't. It's very suboptimal. When me and Dagger was in Davos, with also Jacob, Melania launched her coin. I called my quant in Norway and said, send me Solana right now, please. I really want to buy this coin because it's the future of finance. And this was 1 hour after launch. Obviously, the whole network collapsed, the whole Solana network, this extremely shitty chain. No offense to everyone in there. And 1 hour after, this is how much of a rugging environment it is. 1 hour after she tweeted the link, I called my quant, said, please send me Solana at once. I don't have this shitcoin. And I asked him, are you in on this coin? Have you made a big position? And he told me, you guys know what he told me? I'm already out. 1 hour after, I was like, okay, this is not a game for me. This investing in crypto, this is not for me. Yeah. So it is a very interesting time right now. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be alive at this exact point in time.
All right, quick fact check. So gold is actually mentioned in the white paper. You have to be really careful saying to people that gold is not in the white paper, because otherwise they try and get you with this, which is that it's mentioned gold miners. Yeah, I know it's not a digital gold system, etc. But yeah, it is only mentioned with regard to gold mining. And I think you meant Justin Bonds, not Michael Bonds from Cyber Capital, right? Yes.
Yeah, Justin Bonds. Yeah. All
okay.
of these posters, it's very hard to remember their names.
Yes. Okay, I don't want to get too much into this, but we've already had one comment in the chat from Nicholas Machado. He says, excited for this podcast. I hope you can touch upon Bitcoin mechanic. Always fun to hear your assessment on his thoughts and videos. We don't want to spend too much time on this, but I'm wondering if anybody has any comment on that side. Like you're saying, it was a whole conspiracy that Blockstream had bought out the devs and it was all hijacked. But that was just the evil conspiracy thinking, which now has become not mainstream exactly, but it's become accepted by a certain percentage of the BTC guys in their quest to not have the filters rugged from under them. So Bitcoin Mechanic is going through his cognitive dissonance as the predictions that the Bcash has made are coming true to a degree that even he can't deny it. I don't know if anybody, and they're also even admitting Lightning Network is, fucked. It's not going to work. Maybe as a layer for us, a layer 2 for our layer 3 Fedi mints and etc. Like things are getting worse.
It's a complete shit show.
So I don't know if anybody has any quick thoughts on the Bitcoin Mechanic situation.
So Mechanic likes knots, which is like the 300 kilobyte block implementation.
They haven't done 300 kilobytes.
Yeah,
but
no, yeah.
The plan.
But Luke, the guy behind it, Luke, does want that. Yes.
Yes.
Like it's hard. Well, I mean, it's harder for me to take him seriously. Like,
yeah, Luke Dash. Yeah, you guys know that.
Your backup plan.
You guys know that in the Rift Labs HQ we have actually a Holy See / Vatican City flag, just because maybe Luke Dash Jr. He is this big. I'm not a Catholic. That's not the reason. But he's a very big. He's a Christian man. He's a very big hater of the Catholic Church, and that's why when I was in the Holy See last time, I bought a flag just to have it for our friend Luke Dash Jr. to honor his great developed brain, because he has such a great developed brain and very good taste in what species of animal products he likes to consume. And that's all from me.
Okay.
What was the thing he said? He would eat cats or something if he had to, or I forgot what it was.
I think he said something like he had. It was something like somebody said something like, "Oh, you don't eat household pets like cats or dogs," and he said something like, "Oh, but cat's okay," or something.
Yeah, his palate has a very big range. He's got a very big range on his palate. On his taste palate in terms of different species.
Well, who can understand what they're doing over there? All right, so that's enough BCH for today. The reason that we're here on this show is because I was doing the episode with Halvor, and we thought, oh, maybe one time we could do an off-topic episode. And actually, the thing that we discussed briefly there that I want to kick off with here is the Europe versus America. I think we have representatives of both sides, and you can feel free to take it in any direction you want. I mean,
freedom.
Don't run, baby.
Yeah.
I'm an incredibly proud Brit. All right. The British Empire was the largest empire that ever existed at any period of time that we know about. And America even belonged to Britain, right? So Britain, so you could actually say that America is Britain, and we win anyway, right?
You wish. Yeah.
Anyway, the rebels,
That's the most stupid thing I've heard. Go on.
But they revolted against a couple of % tax on their tea, and so we have the United States of America today. But the thing is right, I really love this question, because when people ask this, it's always about. The Europeans like to shit on America quite a lot, and of course there's some warts in America like there is in any country, but the proof is in the pudding. The thing is, I always like to say to people is like, hey, well, what tech do you use? And it's like, well, I use Apple, or I use Microsoft, I use Google, I use YouTube, I use Facebook, I use Twitter.
Are you gonna say that people invented the Apple just because Isaac Newton was British? You know that doesn't count, right?
But it's like everything is coming out of America. All innovation is coming out of America. And I had some people saying, not in this topic, but China's doing a great job. It's like, what have they innovated? Oh, nothing. Like, yeah, they take what was innovated from America and they do that really well, and they make it cheap and all that. But where does Europe fit in this? I
they invented
don't even know.
COVID-19. That was very popular. They invented COVID-19. That was very popular.
It was actually developed in the lab.
Even that I've heard what America made. So America were just so far ahead.
Just joking.
And it was sent over there when they banned the gain of function. That's a different discussion. Yeah.
So for me, and to wrap it all up, as much as there are things about Europe that is very nice and people can champion. It's definitely much culturally richer, and there's more different cultures, more languages, more different types of food, and so forth. But when it comes to just entrepreneurship and inventions and technology and progress, if it wasn't for the USA, Europe would be living still in the dark ages. And as a Brit, that pains me to say it, but that is the reality. There we go. That's kicking it off.
Oh, thanks. That's pretty polite of you to say. That's nice of you. Yeah, I think
Yeah, the
one thing-
British.
Yeah, go on.
Don't
sorry.
enjoy it too much. We'll get back eventually.
Not very bullish on the future of the British Empire.
Me
You,
neither.
you were like the Viking Empire.
You know nothing.
You were very talented at killing and raping people, and that was about it. But yeah, you had your thing like we did 1,000 years ago. So yeah, all kudos to that. And like yeah,
And you could argue they were an extension of the Viking Empire. They were just, the way
and they
Go away, go away.
the Normans.
That's the stupidest thing I've heard. You know what actually happened, Colin? What actually happened is that the Norwegians and the Norwegian Empire, it's called Norgesveldet, went to Great Britain, and it's very dark. People think Vikings are cool, even though all they did was plunder, rape, and murder. Those are not good people at all. What they did was they went to the British Isles, murdered every single priest and monk they met, raped every single woman they met, and plundered every single ounce of gold back to Norway. And they did not include the British Isles, only Shetland, and also, of course, Iceland, Greenland. They discovered America, Leif Erikson. This was in the year 1000. But they never actually settled the British Isles.
They did later. So
Only-
they ended up settling in France, and then they became the Normans, and then they went. But they spoke French at this point. But they were still,
Yeah,
sort of
but
Viking warriors.
then
But yeah,
then
it
they
wasn't-
became gay. Then they became gay, and that is what made the French people. So they are no longer Norwegian.
Okay, you don't consider them true
They are
Vikings
great
anymore.
French people. They are great French people, but they are no longer Norwegians when they live down there with
Ah, I see. Fair
with,
enough.
a French kind of culture. So it's different,
Yeah. Okay.
And that's great. It's good to be different. That's very important.
Right, so Fiendish has already conceded straight off the bat the EU getting wrecked in terms of technology and innovation. Why do you live in the EU then, Fiendish, if America's
go?
so great? There's got to be more to it than that.
That is a bloody good question. Well, the reason why is because as awful as EU regulations and bureaucracy is in the overall entrepreneurship or like spirit, and it's kind of sad, right? But I live in a part of the world in Europe where if you hold crypto for over a year, it's tax free. You want me to move away from that?
Oh wait, so you don't even have to pay capital gains when you sell it?
Zero.
Oh, that's so
Hold
good.
crypto for 1 year
God bless you.
and it is tax free.
Oh man, that's awesome.
So do I
didn't know
need to
that.
say more?
Wait, I should move. Is that all EU or just Germany?
Just Germany that I know of,
Oh.
yeah.
Crap. And do you have to be a German resident? Like,
Just have to be a tax resident. So,
Tax resident.
whatever that means, yeah.
yeah. So,
But the thing is, and this is the thing, as an American, you always owe tax, as far as I
Yeah,
understand, no matter where you're at. So you have to actually give up your right to be American, even if you're living somewhere else. Whereas in any other reasonable country, and that's something where America is actually far worse. In any other reasonable country, if you are a tax resident of another country, well, that's it. You have moved out, and you're paying your tax bill in that country. And the only reason you pay tax in your home country is if you're earning money there, like rent or whatever.
right, which is the reasonable. Yeah, I mean, because it's the U.S. considers itself the global hegemon, and they're like, well, if you're anywhere in
Exactly.
the world as a American, if you're operating and making money, it's because you're an American, because we're doing this empire thing, and so give us our cut. That's their whole attitude about it. Especially since there's so many millionaires and billionaires in the U.S. I mean, you could just imagine all these people would run away. Like the government just wants their money, I guess. But yeah, I consider that it's kind of, you do get a huge tax credit, like for the first 50,000 that you make is
That'll be 1 Bitcoin Cash in like just a few months. So
yeah, basically half a Bitcoin Cash in 6 months. Yeah. But you do get a tax credit, but yeah, they still get you if you make significant amounts. Yeah, like and especially
I have a question for Fiendish. You live inside the United Kingdom right now.
No,
right?
I live in Germany.
You live in Germany. Oh, okay. But you are a British citizen, right?
Yeah, I've dual citizenship.
Yeah. And you are updated on what's happening inside of the United Kingdom, right?
Well, mostly, yeah.
To some degree, yeah. I just see some stuff on the internet, people, some kind of very authoritarian like free speech stuff. People tweeting like,
Yeah.
just like, I wanna have dinner today and get looked up. Basically, it's
Yeah, no, it's
Can
really
you tell us anything
yeah,
about
it's
this?
really true. So UK right now is has a tyrannical government. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And there are people that were tweeting. So people are rightly very fed up with their tax money going into inviting a very different class of people from. It's quite funny. A lot of people in British, like we have a left-wing government in the UK, and that's because the majority of people voted left-wing. And they're against right wing, but they're inviting quite a lot of quite right wing people, like from right wing countries, with very different cultures to them and belief systems. And so the people are quite frustrated by that, but they're not allowed to speak up about it. So even though it's their tax money that's being used, and it's really no lie, like there's been lots of journalists into this. They're giving top mobile phones when they're coming off the boats. They're put into ridiculously nice hotels, stupid amounts of money per night, like the kind of hotels that you and I just wouldn't normally be able to afford unless we were splashing out. And they're putting into these hotels.
It's still British hotels.
Yeah, okay, it's expensive, but still, not so nice. But there was a lot of people have been put into jail for a significant amount of time because speaking out about this. And there was one woman, she was the wife of a politician, and I think she's just been released now from 9 months in jail. She's never been arrested for anything. She's never been, no criminal record. She's even in kind of a higher place in society because she's the wife of a politician, which normally gives you some level of protection. And I can't remember exactly the quote, but you can find it. But she wrote essentially like, I don't give a damn about these people. They need to leave the country now. Something like that. Like, I can't remember exactly.
Well, I remember what she said. I followed the story.
It was something that really wasn't. It was not that nice. But it was like, okay, she got 9 months in jail for writing this.
What was it, Colin? What was it?
She said, I'm paraphrasing her, but basically, so this guy had like raped and murdered a British girl, and he got away or something, or he got like a light sentence. And then she was like, well, I hate all these immigrants. We should just burn down their immigrant hotels. Like, I'm sick of them. So they got her on that she was like inciting violence because she said that she wants to burn down the hotels. She didn't say she wanted to burn
I don't care.
It's illegal.
I don't care.
Burning down buildings is illegal. That's illegal to incite to burn down the buildings with people.
But she deleted it. She deleted it like within an hour. And like, she got sentenced to 2.5 years. They ended up giving her 9 months, as you say. And the funny thing is, other politicians or other people have said similar things, but about other topics. They've said like we should slit the throat of the right, of the fascists.
Yeah, I have tweeted a picture of me and Dagger saying that we are on our way to burn down the banks myself, like 4 months ago. So yeah.
Burn down what hotel?
The banks.
Oh, banks. Yeah. I mean, it's a turn of phrase. She wasn't actually inciting violence. She was more like, fuck this. But yeah, they got her on that. And then, a ridiculous amount of time. I mean, rapists in the UK, like Pakistani rapists, don't get that much time in the UK. Like, jail sucks, man. Even if it's like a nice jail, like it really is horrible being in jail. Like, trust me, it's like a life-changing traumatic experience, for.
Have you been to jail?
No, but I know some people that have, and it's not nice.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. No, God forbid. Knock on wood.
It's a very big thing in the United States, right? To be in jail is very popular.
Common, yeah. That's one of the things.
It's very common to be in jail.
We incarcerate the largest portion of our population than any other Western world country. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not and our jails are terrible. They're inhumane.
Yeah.
It's not like a nice Norwegian jail as I imagine Norwegian jails would be.
Yeah, Norwegian jails are like the British hotels, like luxury hotels.
Probably not far off.
To be honest, when I saw it, like the Swiss jail really is true. So I saw a Swiss jail from the outside. And I was blown away. It sort of looked like Harry Potter. It was like really nice. But going back to like the UK topic. So, I mean, whatever you think about Hamas, Palestine, like there's a separate thing. But if you're waving a Union Jack, you can be arrested. Whereas at the same time, there's Palestinian flags flying around and the police won't do anything. So there's a really weird dual standard going on right now in the UK. And it's very slanted against white nationals and white. In fact, not even white, because there's actually quite a few like people that have come over from Africa that really have embraced, or India that really embraced as like for first generation. So it's not even the kids, and they've really embraced British culture. But if you're out there sort of being pro-British, it's like no, that's not allowed, and that's very frowned upon. So yeah, UK is a very strange place right now, and I don't know if you saw as well, like the Apple had to you no longer have secure encryption with Apple anymore. So you can have that in all around the world, and it means that not even Apple can look at your files, but that's not available for anyone in the UK. So the government can basically look through your stuff. Like the UK is so much worse than Stalin's Russia, other than it doesn't send off people to gulags yet. It just sends them off to jail. But watch where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, one
Yeah,
thing.
only the United States does that.
Yes, one thing I noticed was actually in some small parts of the UK, I know Bournemouth was one example, but there might have been others, was that actually like local communities are starting to respond to the fact that the situation on the ground is obviously getting, more volatile as parts of society are getting, more dangerous as social cohesion breaks down and so forth. And they were creating this was not exactly like a vigilante force, but sort of the first step in that direction, some sort of like community patrols and stuff like that, because they felt like the police were not doing enough to stop sort of antisocial behavior or anything like that, right? And at the same time as you have that's already a bad sign, right? If you've got people kind of starting to take things into their own hands, that's beyond trust in the system has broken down if it gets to that point. And also quick mention of Peter McCormack, of all people, the BTC podcaster. He's cashed out his money from doing that, and he's trying to run a pilot in his hometown of Bedford where he hires in private security guards to basically assist the police force. He's doing it in conjunction with them because he is sick of the town just degenerating through drug addicts or the politically captured institutions that they had there that were basically just letting everything go to hell on the streets. And so we're actually seeing in real time as things are really fraying at the edges of UK society. But it's kind of a death by 1,000 cuts situation because, like anything, if you have people who are there on a daily basis, maybe they just kind of get used to it. I was living in the UK and I definitely noticed that over the couple of years, it was definitely going downhill. It would be worse in some areas and better in others. But if you're living there on a daily basis, you just adjust to it. And then it's only after you leave and you're visiting somewhere else or you're living somewhere else that you feel way less of that pressure of, being in a dangerous, it doesn't have to be super dangerous for it to be on your radar, for it to be in the back of your mind. And that's, me, I'm not a, defenseless, teenage girl or something like that. It's also completely different situation depending on what part of society you're operating in and so forth as well too. I don't know, Fiendish, do you have any thoughts on that? Do you think things are going to go past a tipping point? Is there going to be a revolution or something? Because if in the absence of change, things are just going to keep getting worse, right?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know. I mean, for one thing, I'm pretty sure things are going to get a lot worse than they are today. Labour have another, I think, 4 years in power, and the current Labour government are awful. Genuinely awful. And I think that most people that are left wing don't like them, so they're not a popular government at all. And then what happens then? So, do the Conservatives get back in power? It's the same old crap, basically. It's just another left wing with a different badge. It's just more cronyism that's going on, or a different level of cronyism, I don't know. And the other chance is reform. If reform wins, would things be different? As we've all learned here, and we see this around the world, you don't really solve these with politics. So on the political front, I'm not really sure that there's a great solution. I hope the reform's given a chance just because it's new. Maybe something will change. But it has to come from the people in the end. But how does it come from the people if you're arrested or, you lose your job for basically saying, I've had enough of immigration. I think immigration is a massive problem. It should stop. I don't want to be spending my tax money on that. That's you just can't say that. It's just completely that's immoral. It's wrong. And here we've got to help these people. It's a strange place to be. So how do you, when does that actually flip? And we've had many different cases where we've had riots in UK because of the same people. It's always from the same countries. It's Afghanistan and Sudan, basically the rape and murder, especially young white children. And it
What
happens.
what about Norwegians? We raped and murdered your entire country. You're not mad about that. You're not mad about
You
that was a
speak for
different.
yourself, Halvor. We are still
five
plotting
nations,
revenge.
hundreds of years. You should be mad at me.
I am. I'm
I
really
have
mad.
That was a
You-
long time ago.
But we
I
don't forget.
I have Viking kings in going back 1,500 years, and they all instigated endless hundreds of years of raids, rape, murder, and plundering of your forefathers and mothers.
Hundreds of years. That's what we're looking forward to, Britain.
That's like
so
a
according to Halvor,
statute
we've
of
got hundreds
limitations.
years
Yeah.
You
of
should
murder and rape.
Ljubljana instead. Yeah. These poor people, they are just want to have a better world, just like everyone. Guys, can we please talk about the political and economic state of the world right now?
Well, that's it. That's why we're just segueing into it here. It's like
it's just a millennial joke right there. What I'm actually wanting to do it's to speak a bit about military powers and some struggles and what kind of is the vibe right now in terms of military. Are you guys keen on that? We spoke briefly about it, Jeremy, last time. Is that okay with you guys? That we kind
go
of
on.
talk about some military stuff.
Yeah.
It's just what kind of are your guys' thoughts on current state of armies in the world?
No. You don't get to do that. You tell us your thoughts, Halvor.
Yeah, I can. My opinion is very simple. There is a building up of arms right now. There's an arms race. I felt this to a very high degree when I was full time in the aerospace sector. More funding. The levels of funding were accelerating every single year. From basically when I started getting involved in the private sector and not just publicly funded rocket engineering projects, and up until last year. There is an arms race right now. Insane stuff is getting built every year. Boeing has their X-37 plane. That's probably the most impressive space-based weapon existing right now, but you also have more conventional means of warfare. Most people don't know this, but in my opinion, just based on the Norwegian air defense, Norway could, as a small country, of course, but Norway could invade and occupy the entire country of Sweden in one day. I believe this, just because of superior air power. I just believe this, just because Norway bought extremely many F-35s, Lockheed Martin F-35s of the United States a couple of years ago, prior to Stoltenberg's joining NATO. We don't have a single destroyer, carrier, or anything like that. We have our fleet, our Navy fleet. It's small. It's not like like a 700 billion a year military budget like the United States. But the world is. We have like 200 countries, but in reality, it's. For example, in the Middle East, there are three clear power nations. It's Egypt, Turkey, and Iran. The rest cannot compare at all in terms of military and economic power, in my opinion.
What about Israel? Can they compare? Or Israel without U.S. funding? Let's say.
Yeah, of course. I didn't count Israel in with those. I was mostly talking about Arab nations.
Gotcha.
But are we? Hang on. What I'm interested in is, it feels like we're just coming to a point where everything is just going to be drones, right? Is it really going to matter if you're going to have, the new fighter jet, whatever, that takes millions and millions and millions of dollars? If I can just spam a bunch of drones that are, I don't know how much, but presumably hundreds, or like they're exponentially cheaper, so you don't need to have a very high hit rate, and you have to train up a pilot and everything like that for a plane. If I'm just have enough drones and I can afford to just throw those at you unmanned, eventually they hit something and you only need one hit, you take down the plane. Isn't warfare just going to devolve into drone clusters, basically?
Yeah, it's just going to be swarms of super high speed, high tech drones. I think so too. I think money is much more effectively spent if you if you focus on stuff like creating very good, high-powered, super high dexterity drones instead of these insanely expensive F-35 planes. I mean, you also have to know, just like NASA, much of this is also kind of bringing jobs to the Midwest scheme, right? It's government employment, so half of it is actual creating good military equipment and defense equipment, just like with NASA. Half of the things creating good rockets. But the other reasoning behind creating this stuff, it's to bring as many jobs as possible to the Midwest, and it's the same in every single country. It's also a job creation scheme for just many people.
And you know,
So, yeah,
thinking
I
about the
agree.
drone points, I fully agree with that. Does anyone else think that when China does those big drone displays, which is supposed to be, you know, like fireworks, and, you know, it's just supposed to be nice, but does anyone else get the feeling like China's doing this in a really clever way? They're like, hey, look how nice this is.
Yeah.
It's
I
the
mean,
ultimate friendly threat.
yeah.
We'll destroy you with these
That's a psyop to make people living in the West very scared, and with good reason, with very good reason.
I mean, you just think with AI, the way that AI is going, when those drones, I mean, already I think, you know, just being connected, but if they're actually able to pilot themselves well with their own internal AI chip, then you know, it's kind of scary what will be possible in about 10 to 20 years, and you'll be just, you know, be able to police entire nations with these little robots. They get shot down, who cares? You just pop another one out for a few $100. So yeah, I think drones is definitely the future of warfare, which is both good on one side, but also really scary, because that won't just be warfare, then it will also be policing and state control.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think of the fact that people predicted maybe, say, 10 years ago that, okay, there would be Amazon drones everywhere. And you see people doing things like, haha, I've got my pizza delivered via drone. But that still sort of seems to be like a once-off exciting thing. Oh, this happened. We haven't got to a world where it's normalized, as far as I know, probably anywhere in the world, to just have drones flying around over your head at all times for civilian needs, let alone sort of military needs. But perhaps it needs the technology, the cutting edge would be in the military stuff rather than the civilian applications. Why hasn't that happened yet? And is that just going to happen over the next 10 years rather than the previous 10?
I mean, I think that Amazon drones, they will be everywhere, but it will be Amazon's private army of humanoid robots with automatic weapons. That's just a joke. That's just a joke. Yeah, not really. No.
I think it's coming though. I think we're going to see. If you look, so in the Teslas now have the full self-driving, and it's already working in the US, and it should become available in Europe. So it's a legal thing, and that should become like they want to pilot that in October in Germany. It sounds like in the Q4 this year that will be available in the EU. So you're going to see like the whole robotaxi and, you know, Teslas being used as taxis is coming in very soon. And so if we've got
over
cars,
here in Austin, they got that already. There's this thing called
exactly.
Yeah, it's
So,
like the robotaxi.
That's actually one of the few things. So Europeans never hear any of the good things that come out from Donald Trump. It's just the negativity and the trade wars. But actually what Donald Trump did with the trade agreements with the EU, he said, like, all of these restrictions against our tech companies, this has to stop. You're like unfairly crippling them with Apple, with Tesla, but many others. And this has to stop. So that was actually, there's quite a few stuff that went into that trade agreement, which is why they're pushing forward to have that all going forward in Q4 in the EU now. So yeah, thanks Donald Trump. You know, there's very few. I have to admit, I'm not a huge Donald Trump fan at all, but that I'm happy about, because I think that's great. And you know, and so back to your point, Jeremy, I think if we've got self-drive cars, which you can just get in and take you around, and that's coming and it's already happening now, there's no reason why the drone thing isn't going to explode also within the next, 2, 3, 4 years. I think it's going to be very, very soon. And a little bit like AI or the smartphone, it'll be one of those things that just blows up out of nowhere and we get used to it very, very quickly.
Well, that's why I bring it up. Yeah.
We probably need like better AI that consumes less power, that's smaller for drones. That's one of the because like if you look at the Ukraine war, they're using drones everywhere, but they're all like generally
Yeah, but the
they're
cars,
human
the thing
pilot, remotely piloted.
the Teslas are driving themselves with the AI on the thing. But think a car going along the street, that's insanely more
Yeah,
complicated
but I mean, you
than
have a
drone
lot
going
more.
through the air.
Right. I mean, but with a car, you can fit a lot more hardware on it. It's not going to fall out of the sky like with a drone. The whole, if you think about drones, you think about these sort of lightweight, battery powered. They don't have that
Sure,
much
but I
energy.
guess the drones wouldn't be driving so far. I mean, so the actual chip itself is not very big, right? It's the chip that's in a Tesla is really just it would fit in a drone. So it's going to take some battery power. But I'm guessing this is going to start off in cities and it's going to be huge. So a drone's going to be maybe flying half an hour at most. I don't know, like maybe 15 minutes or 10 minutes. So maybe you're right, but I think. I would be surprised because flying a drone we certainly would not need the level of intelligence that's
Yeah, it's probably
driving
much
a car
simpler.
with it.
It's probably much simpler than a car. There's so much complexity with road driving. Yeah,
There's less things to hit. There's less pedestrians and whatever. You just hit a bird or something.
I don't trust no clanker.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is like I feel like part of it probably by this point isn't a technology issue, right? Which means it's either an economic issue or a social issue, right? And that's why I think it's interesting that we haven't got into regular package delivery, because if you have the package deliveries going on, then it's a very small step over to military drone occupation, dystopian police state style, right?
God, that's scary because it's literally a click of a finger, and we are going to see it. We are going to see it, I reckon, 4 or 5 years, and that means literally just the government decides we're going to take over Jeff Bezos' massive logistics drone network, and we're just under authoritarian rule, just like that.
This actually exists in Norway already. It's a company called Aviant that does this kind of stuff, and they do package delivery of this kind of short to medium range flights.
Oh, really? With drones? Oh, wow.
Delivering full stack drone services that enable autonomous and on-demand transport of cargo. Cool. There you go.
Yeah.
That's the company that's going to just lock down and take away all your freedoms at some point when the government says, hey, do you know what? That's a great idea.
No, these are cool. Actually, some of the founders are from the Norwegian University of Science and Technology, so I know who they are, actually.
The point isn't the company, right? It's not about the founders, it's about the technology exists. And then if the government decided to, if they wanted to, they could say, hey, we're going to repurpose those for our own needs. That was, I think, the point Jeremy was making. Like, once you have that infrastructure there, it's just a decision from a high, from the states to use that against its populace, which is an interesting thought.
Yeah, sure. And the Earth could be hit by an asteroid and we could die.
Luke, any thoughts? Are we going to be in a dystopian drone era? How's that going to play out?
If we choose that. Hopefully, I pray that we don't.
Well, where's the levers of power, moving that, right? Because I need to hear a convincing explanation of why hasn't this already happened. I don't think it's a technological problem. I don't think it's the kind of thing that some VC company couldn't spin up.
Well, it's a lot of legality, right? Like if I have drones flying over my property, like how much airspace do I own? Do people want to be hearing drones flying over their property 24/7?
But Uber had that same problem, and they just basically blasted. They were just like, maybe this is more convenient. We'll just deal with the lawsuits as they come up, and we'll make so much money that we won't care.
Yeah, these things just take longer than people expect. They thought we would have flying cars by now. You know what I mean? These things just take time.
All right. Okay. Anything else?
It will happen. The whole drone thing will happen. It'll just take long. It's taking longer, and it will take longer than people expect.
What about humanoid robots then? Tesla keeps saying we're going to release Optimus or whatever, and they have those little demo videos of folding up laundry or whatever. Is that coming soon?
Yeah. Is anyone else blown out by AI? So for me, AI's development is insane. When I think Grok 3 is just over a year old. It was the first Grok that was sort of actually useful. Grok 4 is phenomenal. I find ChatGPT 5 is also pretty exceptionally good. Claude for coding. with all the stuff that's going on with AI, like it just means like they just need to make sure if it's once it's running efficiently on a portable like battery that will fit a humanoid, which again it comes to what Calin was saying. A car's pretty big. You can have a half a ton battery put into the car to be able to run it. With a robot, is much more of a challenge. So I guess that's the biggest restrictor. But I'm absolutely 100% convinced we're going to be seeing robots that work very well.
Menial jobs, initially.
Very soon.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. If it's 2 years or 5 years or maybe 10 years, but we're talking about, I think, that sort of time frame. And my guess here would be closer to sort of 4 or 5 that we see the first ones that come out to commercially deploy.
It's going to be important, I think, that the people demand control of their devices. One problem with this sort of world we're going into with Tesla vehicles and drones and things like that is that, if something's run by code and you're not you don't know what you're doing, there's backdoors to everything. And so if you become an enemy of the state, they will brick your Tesla and drive you.
That's what worries me the most about these like
they'll drive you off
bullshit.
They'll make your Tesla drive you off the cliff at 100 miles an hour, and everyone will just say, "Oh, it was a technical glitch," but you're an enemy of the state. So it's very important.
You can get away with extrajudicial killings much easier.
Do you want a robot in your home that they can backdoor?
And what worries me with Tesla is like the thing downloads software updates like constantly, and like you don't know what's going on over there, and the thing's so autonomous already, and like who knows, like maybe one day they'll just like they'll brick it for you, like if they don't like you, like that's what really worries me about with all the stuff,
Yeah,
like,
so maybe
control of devices is key. Yeah,
maybe blockchain is some sort of answer where you could control your devices with some sort of private key system. I don't know. I'm not that sort of developer, but it's very important that you have somewhat of a control over these sort of devices, because if you become an enemy of a state, that becomes a problem.
Is that realistic though? Like we're already in a world where it's funny, if you go back, you read like George Orwell, and his thing was having the TV on the wall that could hear and see you at all times.
It's crazy.
He actually undershot. Not only do we have that, we now have everybody carrying it around everywhere. That's
you're right.
They are listening. Like this is the thing. Like we joke about it, but it's like, but they are listening.
Oh, they're 100%
and this has been proven time and time again. Especially if you're an enemy of the state. Like, but even if you're not, very often, listening more than we'd like to
it's like
admit.
This is a massive problem that has to be solved, or we'll slip into some sort of dystopia farther than we already are.
But then, how's that gonna happen? Like, if we've seen so far that consumers just on the whole don't care, like if convenience or the economic needs, whatever.
Is that true though?
That's why it'll become a choice.
It'll become a choice, but the thing is, Apple sells like their marketing is really strong on this. So when you use like the smart plugs, if you're using Android, now this might have changed, but when I had Android, what would happen if you use smart plugs? It would any command would go to a server somewhere, owned by some company, and then it would send it back to your devices. And Apple, it's all in the house. There's no network communication that goes out, and they're really big on this, and they're really pushing this. On so many different things with their security, is the fact that not even Apple can see what you're doing. And this company is worth loads. People are spending lots of money on this. Now, that's one of their marketing strategies. Now, you could argue they like the iPhone because of other different reasons, but it's like, well, Apple have identified, I think, love or hate Apple, I think we can all agree they've got pretty they've got their finger on the pulse when it comes to marketing, and they're marketing that. So that means they have identified that this is an important aspect for people.
I 100% disagree. Apple have completely lost it, and I can say one thing: employee number 13 and the guy that came to Jobs himself and pleaded and asked him to rejoin Apple after he had quit and created Next Computers. This is one of my most important mentors. I know him personally, and he. The fact is that Apple have completely lost it. Apple has.
Sure, but it's not about Apple being a good company or not. The point is that they've identified their marketing.
I mean marketing. No,
okay, so you think the fact that they're marketing. The fact that it's safe and secure, that you think that they're wrong, that this isn't something that's important, and so they're marketing the wrong thing?
I think that being I use Apple myself because of this, because of the reason that they have been true to the privacy of their customers to a certain extent. To a certain extent. But I, in no shape or form, agree that Apple actually has good marketing generally. Apple have lost it. When I viewed their keynote last year, I cringed inside of me, and I have the first Macintosh. You saw last time we were on the podcast, Dagger had the Macintosh 1 beside him. This is my computer. I'm the biggest Apple person user of all. I have ordered my Vision Pro. I'm not an Apple hater. I don't even use Android, but it tears down my heart to say this. Apple have lost it, and Steve Jobs, he would have flipped in the grave of how mismanaged his company have been under Team Apple.
Yeah, I think they've had some product disasters. Yeah, no, I think that you both agree on the big thing. Like, yeah, the privacy is good with Apple, but I think they're not without Steve Jobs, they're not as good as they were as far as product features. And
yeah.
I mean, I have a list of examples I could give too. That's like 10 things that annoy me about stuff they've done in the last 5 years. So just with product design.
For me, I think the important thing is like, do people care about privacy? And that's the question. So, like with Apple, they've identified this. If Apple marketing is now worse than it was, or shit, that's still the reason why you bought the Apple, because of that marketing. And that's what, I mean, they certainly believe that that's an important angle. And I think so too. Which is why, you know, a lot of people, when I speak to like my colleagues who have an Apple, they're really not technical people. There's people in sales. But the reason why, one of the things I'll say is like, it's secure, it's safe. And so that, and I do think, so going back to like the idea of having these AI, so I think it's really important when we have robots and whatever, we need to make sure that that's protected against the government or state control or, you know, third party control. And then the question is like, do people care about safety and security? And I think that, yes, I think that absolutely that's an educational thing. And I think that that's something like Bitcoin Cash as well is doing a great job of sort of, you know, keeping people in that sort of mind space. And then, you know, we can protect ourselves from such a time. Because one thing's for sure, if we have lots of robots and the government can hack them, like they will hack them. It's just a matter of time, and they will use them against us. And, you know, maybe it'll just be on the individual level, but it could be on a mass like scale. So it's something that is really important. It's an important topic.
All right, well, let me throw this in.
Just real quick, everything you type on the keyboard is logged, just so people know that.
Yeah, so let me throw this in. Yeah, on that point, Fiendish, you say, and I agree with you to some extent. Like, I know WhatsApp also does marketing about their secure chats and etc. I mean, I think that's mostly a fugazi, to be honest. But I understand that your point that the consumers obviously feel a need for that, and the companies are responding to that. But what about, okay, people want their private messaging or whatever, and then they're like pouring their hearts out to AI? Like, you can just look into that. People are having, you know, their AI friends basically that they're talking to all day. They're doing their journal, they're doing their self-improvement things or whatever, you know, they're just pouring their hearts out. It's actually like, what's her name? Ginny Weasley in Harry Potter, you know, book number 2. She's just writing all her secrets into the book that is then finding ways to reflect back to her what she wants to hear. Isn't that just going to be the next frontier of mass data collection and control of people without them even being aware of, if the AI just started prompting them in a different direction, you know?
100%. That's why, you know, AI needs to be democratized. So the EU is all about regulating this and controlling it so that only big corporations can have this. It's like, no. Everyone should be running their own AI. The future for me is your AI is running in some locked up cupboard in your house, and it's completely locked down and completely secure, and everything. You can speak to it and write to it and tell it all of the stuff, you know, your deepest, darkest secrets, but like no one else can see that. Because yeah, you're right. I mean, it absolutely will be used not just for like marketing purposes and selling your data, but it will be used to actually control what you're going to do. And I'm a big believer that any human being can be completely hijacked. Everyone, even, you know, someone like Shadow, who would
manipulated. Yeah.
Okay, but completely manipulated, like to make you hate your wife that you love, like just to give you the right images, the right fear points, the right stuff, exactly the right time. Because of your digital life, like they know everything, and so to give exactly the part that makes you mistrust someone, and over maybe months, you know, make you turn completely against someone. So I think that there can be huge control here. With AI, it only gets like 100 times, 1,000 times worse. So we should have control over that. So yeah, it's a real risk today. And as much, I think AI is fantastic, and I'm someone that uses it a lot. But I think that I see the risks. They're really real and kind of scary.
So besides talking about it, what can we do? I mean, these different things like AI, data or drone military cities or whatever. Setting aside, I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, okay, BCH, fix the money, and then everything will flow from that. But setting that aside,
but that is it, right? Get the money out of the government's hand, get the government as small as possible, and then the problem is reduced.
Yeah, but there's got to be more to it than that, right? That can't be our answer to everything.
BCH is the answer.
I would say at this time in America, the biggest problem is its health. America's people are quite sick. The food supply has become quite toxic, unfortunately. It's become very corporatized. Even since I was a child, especially it's ramped up since COVID, the food quality has gone extremely downhill. If you analyze the mineral levels of even like the vegetables and things that we eat, mineral levels and the food that we eat have gone down. And so the people of America, for the most part, are quite malnourished. Even these, even though obesity is a problem, these people are obese, but they're actually malnourished at the same time. Because the part of it is that
most people are like, they're victims of propaganda marketing. They think that it's American happiness to go eat at McDonald's or Taco Bell or something. I mean, they're crap.
it's a little
not that simple. I don't think
the average person I know, like, they don't know how to cook. Like, it horrifies them. Like, do you know how to make a sandwich?
That's part of it.
One of the things.
Right.
People don't cook, so they go to shitty restaurants. Like, I cook every meal. Like, I feel really well nourished. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's part of it. But part of it is even the soils that we use, like the Great Plains, for example, where America grows most of its wheat. We've been growing wheat on that area, that region, for hundreds of years now. And the soils have not been.
Wheat is not a very nutritious foodstuff, but yeah. I mean,
Calin, I think you're missing the point.
Wheat is not good food. No, you listen to Colin.
This is true. Whenever I go to Europe, I hear this. I spend a lot of time in Europe, and I spend a lot of time here. And I go over there, and they have this image of, like, I don't want these Europeans watching to think the food's horrible here, dude. There's amazing food in the U.S. Like, one thing, you can't find good beef, like, at all in Europe. Like, it's impossible. Like, they say they have good beef, but even their good beef is like nothing. I don't know. I just want to give people like a balanced view of like the U.S. food supply. Like, it isn't as bad as we say. It could be.
Hang on a second.
It could be a lot better.
I live like basically in rural Northern California, right? And so there's a lot of farms and things where I live. So a lot of the food that I eat is like from literally like farmers.
Yeah, I'm sure it's excellent.
They're growing organic, and the food quality is much better. But I'm saying overall, like, the whole American food system has become it's gotten much worse. Okay? Like,
we also have great beef in Norway. Only difference is that all the pesticides in the US are banned here. You know that, right?
Yeah. So the big problem is the soils. We've been growing, like, we're talking about, like, the Great Plains. We've been growing wheat on there for hundreds of years, and as the soils degrade, we just use more fertilizers, and then we use forms of wheat that can handle more fertilizer. But the food becomes more and more empty as we deplete the soils. And so this is a massive.
I was listening to a biologist about this in Germany. It's the same thing, because we're making our vegetables larger. But the larger the vegetable, they still have the same mineral content in the entire vegetable. So you actually have less minerals per pound as well. So there's quite a few factors here. That mineral content in vegetables is much lower than it was even in Europe compared to like 60, 70 years ago.
And so we have access to like a lot of technology and stuff like that, but I don't think that we can relate to even like the average health or testosterone level of like the average American male in the 1800s. Like literally the English Empire imposed like a 3% tax, and we started stacking bodies. You know what I mean?
Those were the days. Literally, someone looks at you wrong.
The testosterone questions, like, it could be a combination of things. There's probably is stuff in the food. It could be microplastics. I mean, it could be even, men regulate their testosterone level based on their perceptions. Like, they did studies, guys that watching gun videos, like gun YouTube videos, their testosterone level goes like measurably up, like after like an hour of gun videos.
Fuck yeah! I did that.
All right, we're going to pause the podcast here and just play gun videos for an hour. So,
there's a lot going on with testosterone. It's a complicated question, but part of it could be toxins. It could be poison.
Yeah, and so I think the biggest problem with America is its health. what most of my work, we talk about Bitcoin Cash, but how I make my living is I basically heal people using mineral balancing. Okay.
Oh wow.
And when I look at the hair test, which is the main diagnostic tool that I use, when I look at the hair test of children, for example, these children, most of the American children are already born in burnout. So we talk about burnout, like the adrenals, the thyroid, the whole energy mechanism of the body is already in burnout at birth with most American children. And I can see this on the tests.
Vaccines.
Okay. Yeah, part of it is the health of the mother.
The best, at best, you can say they're a stressor on the body. I mean,
yeah. Part of it is also the health of the mothers. If the mother is eating toxic foods and malnourished, then the baby. For example, when I look at the tests of the mother and the child, they're usually very similar. They have the same heavy metals and things like that. Another huge issue is heavy metal poisoning. Everyone in America.
Vaccines, by the way, you know that, right? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when I look at the hair tests of the average American, I mean, I work with people in Europe and stuff like that, but especially it's all Western nations. But especially in America, every single person has mild aluminum poisoning.
Yeah, well, they put aluminum in vaccines. I wonder why.
Well, it's in the water.
Yeah, it's in a lot of things.
They're spraying it on us.
It's also on the antiperspirants. So in deodorants, yeah, exactly. Women who use deodorants, there's quite a lot of aluminium in them, and it's actually really connected to breast cancer. There's quite a lot now of deodorants coming out without aluminium in them because, like that, yeah, it wrecks your body.
I'm telling you that over 90% of people in Western nations have mild aluminum poisoning.
Yeah, no one should use deodorant. This is very bad for humans.
Yeah, we know you don't, Halvor. We're far away, but yeah.
I've been next to Halvor in real life. He doesn't smell bad, but he's Norwegian.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because
I smell it gorgeous.
Like I'm Greek, I probably smell worse than he does if I don't watch. But yeah,
if humans are healthier, they naturally start making better decisions. They can think. Most people are traumatized in our society already. You talk about how they're easily to manipulate. Most people are already in a sort of trance state, actually.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I have a question for you. Like, do you think that people even know what's healthy? Because I think one of the problems is they're disinformed about what's healthy.
I don't think so. They think that no, people don't.
Yes and no. It is a maze out there. I will admit that it's very difficult to find accurate information about health in general.
Yeah. I mean, the people that are poisoning us want us to not understand what that's about.
Yeah, the AI. Talk about the AI. The AI will kind of tell you what you want to hear. The AI is not actually truly intelligent. It's just regurgitating what it reads on the internet. Right?
Yeah.
You go to the internet.
It's like a glorified search engine as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you go to the internet and people will either tell you to go vegan or they'll tell you that you should be eating, raw meat.
Yeah.
It should be like the staple, you know what I mean? And so that is true. It's a massive problem is that it's a health maze out there. That's a huge problem.
I feel like the American public has been actively disprinted since at least the 1980s about what they should be eating. Yeah. And so we're like 2 or 3 generations into what's healthy. No one even knows what's healthy. And like that's
I can real quick give you the Halvor diet.
It's my job.
What I eat it's normal beef that I cook in a pan that is not a Teflon or non-stick pan. I cook it in butter. I don't only eat meat. I also eat local vegetables.
See, why do you need to use butter when you're cooking your beef? Is it because your Norwegian beef is too lean?
It's because I love butter.
Oh, okay.
Because that's what I love.
You get a nice American steak, like
is it raw butter?
Marbled. You just throw it on the grill. You don't even.
I prefer my steak without added cancer. Thank you.
Is it raw?
The American,
do you use raw
you have
butter?
no idea. I could not find a good piece of beef in anywhere in Europe. Like the whole time.
Yeah, then you should
throwing shots at
bring it to a very good farm that I grew up on the countryside, so I have place for all this.
I'm just kidding. I was just ribbing on you. Yeah, sorry, I cut you off. You said you throw
no. And drinking milk. If you have the opportunity to go to farmer, buy milk directly from very, very healthy. If it's not heated and killed all the goods, same with honey, there's a reason why it's called the land of the milk and honey. Honey, people know that it's a superfood, and if you don't heat it up during production, it's also very healthy because you maintain all the good bacteria. The same goes for milk. yes, health authorities cannot endorse this because bacteria can also be bad. It can make people sick. So they cannot endorse it on a public full scale. But it is the same as with honey. If you don't heat it up, you maintain all the good bacteria, and it's fucking super food that induces dragon energy and great health for every single human being. That is
It's also
Halvor
it tastes so
diet.
much nicer as well. So my
That's
friend
the
used to go to
fucking kicker.
his parents had a dairy farm and had unpasteurized milk there, fresh, and it was just so creamy. So it was just such a different consistency to the milk you buy from the stores. But you're right there, and it's actually really interesting. In the UK, the person that banned this made pasteurized milk like legally forced. Like afterwards, they really noticed that there was a mineral deficiency that happened because of that. So it does have an impact on the nutrient value. And of course, we
100%.
mentioned there, the bacteria that's in there, especially if it's not fresh, it can be dangerous. So there are risks, of course. But it's a trade-off, and no one wants to talk about that trade-off. It's just no, it has to be boiled, it has to be pasteurized, and that's the end of the discussion.
There's states in America where if you sell raw milk, like at a dispensary, they literally show up with SWAT teams. There's videos.
Yeah, and that's crazy. That's really wrong.
Like literally, the feds fucking show up with M16s.
It's wild. You're selling natural milk. That's when you think about it. If you were to go back and show that to the forefathers, I'm pretty sure they'd be like, let's get back to the British. What's going on?
They would fucking not. They would shoot every single British person they would see immediately on sight, on feet.
Yeah, luckily here in California, actually, it's there's a lot of problems with California, but they have good. I can get raw dairy.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. It's not my intention to be so racist towards the British. It's just we have been warring with them for thousands of years, Norwegians. So it's friendly banter from
I've
island
got like
people.
a red stubble, so I'm pretty sure I've got some Viking in me. So it's all right,
That's all that raping 1,000 years ago,
But
we left some of the children there.
I'm just
great grandfather raping rampaging Viking.
That's true.
I'm just an Amerimut. It's funny to see like a lot of people, like even where I live, they'll get their genetics back. They're like, "Oh my god, I'm like 10% Irish, like 15%." No, like, you're an Amerimut, dude.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Maybe I will come to the US one day and join the mix.
Yeah, man, come to Texas. We'll go shoot and we'll have some beef. We'll have some barbecue.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, I'll do that.
You get you a big booty Latina.
I was just gonna say one thing about the organic, like the crackdown on organic and on raw milk. Like they that's like serving the interests of just centralized food production, right? Like if people discover that like organic milk or whatever, raw milk is better for them, and they start demanding it, it's gonna be more localized food production, right? You can't really centralize that. You have to
goat's even better. Goat milk's actually even higher quality than more nutrient dense. Yeah.
I mean, so that's one of the things where the regulators use this whole thing of like, oh, your safety, but they're really like looking out for the interests of who knows.
Dude, how do you think the Taliban really fought off the Russians and us for decades?
Goat milk, right?
I'm sure if you measure their T levels, they're very high.
Milk, it induces this dragon energy in humans if it's not pasteurized. This is not a joke. It's really not a joke. It's
really?
superfood. Yeah, it's not a joke. Yeah.
I've never had it before, or I think I had like a little bit once.
Yeah, it's like Red Bull, only not cancerous and makes you infertile and horrible for humans.
So Halvor, I'm fascinated by this topic because I've seen this raw milk thing, and I know that because Australia is the home of all these kind of diet scams. Let me tell you, over there is the most like brainwashed thing. I don't know. Do you guys know the food pyramid? Have you ever heard of that?
Biggest scam in the universe.
Yeah, right.
It's a US scam. It's an American scam.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's the breakfast companies. That was a scam, but that's everywhere in Australia. They love that shit when I was growing up, right? So when I heard it, and the same with the milk, right? It's all homogenized and pasteurized, everything everywhere. So I never even really knew or thought there was another option. But now I hear about this raw milk stuff, and I'm like, okay, sounds like worth a shot. But you said there's the bacteria. So allay my concerns. It can't be all good. What is the actual risk of
Yeah, it's not that it's good or bad, it's neutral. Bacteria, it's a living organism, right? So it's like having humans. You have humans on Earth. Is it good or is it bad? No, it's nothing. It's neutral. Maybe they enslave and war on each other, then it's bad. Or maybe they take care of the Earth, they bring peace and love and do a great thing and show each other love and create great technology, colonize the fucking galaxy, and spread its genes and love all over the fucking Milky Way, then it's good. It's the same with bacteria. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just living organisms.
Yeah, and a lot of foods, like cheese, yogurt, like a lot of them have bacteria, and it's fine.
Yeah,
yeah
all the best shit have bacteria in them.
Yeah.
The only thing that doesn't have bacteria is water, and water is very special and very different. It's very, very, very special molecule, actually. This is the second most abundant molecule in the universe. Very few people know this, actually. But it's very special. It's the only thing that doesn't have bacteria kind of in its content. So bacteria is not good. It's not bad. You can have bad bacteria. You can have good bacteria. It's a part of living. And this thing that everything needs to be sterile. Everything needs to be.
That's an idiot point of view. I don't know how
Yeah,
a lot of people think this though. A lot of people believe that things should be completely free of bacteria, sterile as possible. Yeah.
Actually, this is why. So there's a lot of research. I was speaking to my brother about this. He was reading some stuff. Like there's a lot of science, modern science as well, that's coming out. That the reason why so many like ailments are on the rise, a lot of allergies. Is because we don't have actually the contact with the bacteria and even parasites. This is what's crazy. So exactly. It's just we live in a symbiosis. So I think it's a great point. It's like it's not good, it's not bad. It's like it's just neutral. But it's also how we've evolved over millions of years to be in lots of to be surrounded by bacteria. So there's no doubt, like by living in a more hygienic environment, we've increased human lifespan and we've made life more pleasant. So I don't want to overrule all of that movement. That would be nonsense. But we have gone too far. I think that the science is pretty clear on that. That's also my feeling. And so, to answer that question, Jeremy, it's like, what's the risk? Is I would ask you another question: what's the risk of not drinking it? And what's the risk of living this really sterilized life? And I think that's a more interesting question, because then it starts really to think about like what are the consequences of this ultra clean environment that we live in, including our food, and is it good? And when you start pulling on that thread, there's some quite interesting studies that are done that show the risks are there and they are real. And it's definitely linked to the nutritional aspect too, coming back to that. So
I'm open to it, but the reason I'm saying is because it's one of those things, and it's like Bitcoin, it's like a lot of things, is there's sort of the mainstream orthodoxy, which is probably a scam, right? But that's like 95% of all the information. So to get the real stuff, you've got to go see what the sort of other side says. But then you run into troubles, because then you have 5% of the information, and maybe half of that is like approximately closer to the truth, and half of it is just like complete nut jobbery, right? So because that's the nature of once you get to the fringe,
that's true.
So that's why I'm trying to that's why I've seen that, and I've like the raw milk. On one hand, I've like seen people who are like, yeah, this makes sense. This is all good. This is really good for you. And then other people who are maybe that the mainstream is right about, although by accident they're right about it, and then the people who are pro anything, like in this case the raw milk, would be trying to minimize that. So I kind of need the educated counter to the counter.
Here's an educated counter.
Yeah, to answer your question with pasteurization specifically, if you have raw milk and you don't pasteurize it, you have to take better care of the animals.
Yes.
And you have to take better care of the milk. With pasteurization, you can have large corporatized farms with sick animals with infections, and you can put all the milk into a giant vat, and then you can boil it, and then you kill bacteria. Whereas with raw milk, you have to take much better care of the milk, and you have to follow best practices like cleaning the animals and taking better care of them. And things like
Which is why don't buy it from anywhere other than a store, like a farm that you really trust. This is why I drank it at my friend's place. And I didn't even think anything about it. But here we go. So according to the Raw Milk Institute, covering 2005 to 2020, there were 2 deaths linked to raw milk in the US. One which involved an adult with severe underlying health issues. The CDC and FDA study from 2013-2008 notes 2 deaths from 75 outbreaks. So I think it gives you sort of like because I think that's the important question, right? If I drink this, how likely is it to really affect my life? And
It's not
you know,
safer than the COVID vaccine, so it's good enough for the CDC.
The Raw Milk Institute, they're not necessarily unbiased, but I think it's a good point. You know, that's like my risk profile concern is most for the catastrophic risk, right? If let's say I tried it and I didn't like it or I had some problem, as long as it didn't
what's the
kill
worst
me,
that can happen? You get diarrhea or something?
Well, that's right. Yeah, exactly. I'm not saying.
Can it give you like
well, you could get E. coli.
I don't know,
like,
Calin. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this.
Bad milk.
I'm actually curious.
E. coli could kill you, right? I mean, that's a really serious illness.
That's very toxic to spread this kind of super negativity about edge cases about something. You know, you could get an asteroid in your head and die right now. You know that, right? Should you be scared of going outside? No.
We're just trying to figure out the truth.
Like, what's the worst? Let's say you've got like some
Exactly.
questionable raw milk, and the guy was like beating his cow, so the cow's unhappy. It's got like
So there's no reason to unnecessarily scare people.
And then you leave it out in the sun for like 2 days. And what happens then? Do you get like just diarrhea? Or do you get,
Have you guys ever heard of interstellar pulsar? You guys know what a pulsar is?
Oh yeah. You can send like a gamma ray burst, right, to us or something.
Yeah. At any point, at any second, ever, including right now, the entire Earth can be just nuked in 1 second and completely pulverized and burnt up to just dust. Yeah, in 1 second. This can happen anytime. As a rocket engineer, do you think I say this to every person I meet? No, I don't. This is the same with the E. coli stuff.
Admittedly, more people have died on milk than Earth have been destroyed.
You don't have to bring up this case. This will scare people. It's not a supernova, it's a pulsar.
Or a pulsar, but the point is that like
being alive is a risk. Yeah.
Being alive is a risk. Everything is a risk. 2 people dying is the same as people that died.
Exactly, but that's what Jeremy's asking.
Yeah, that's why I'm just trying to get to the bottom. I don't know if it's 2 or 2,000.
What is that worst thing that could happen?
Probably same amount of people that have died while downloading a Docker update for the last 20 years. It's 7 billion people, 8 billion people on Earth.
Okay. If the number is
helping the conversation finish, please. So please.
If the number is 2 people, then I understand that guy. Drank raw milk and then immediately fell out of window. Right? I understand stuff happens.
He's a Russian oligarch.
The point is, I'm just trying to get an idea for the the risk profile. But anyway, that's it. I think this is a great thing, and I'm definitely keen to try. But I guess I got to look up. I got to find someone trustworthy.
Vitalik something. Vitalik, I don't know.
So, Halvor, where do you get your milk? What's your source? How are you mates with a farmer or what?
Yeah, I buy it from Kolbjørn Fagerås, great friend of mine. He runs Urkorn Norway in Trøgstad. Super great guy. One of the most talented, most serious farmers I know. And it's like we said earlier, when you don't pasteurize the milk, you obviously have to take extra care of the cows. You cannot have 1 million cows on 1 square meter and feed them with cancerous shit and have them stand in their own literal feces and then just boil the milk to take out all the cancer afterwards. This kind of with this is great power, right? And it's like Aunt Emma said, with great power comes great responsibility. She's told this to Spider-Man, and it's true for every single aspect of life, including making powerful, good milk, and also with organic food. When you make this super milk, you have to take extra good care of the animals. You cannot do this abusive, big production level making of food. But that's okay, because making animal Auschwitz for these poor animals, it's nothing we should do anyways. So it's 2 flies in 1 slap, as we say in Norway.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing good morally. You're supporting non-Auschwitz animal, and then you're helping your own health. Like, it's like good karma.
Yeah,
both ways.
Very positive. It's very good.
Well, see, this is where I think, we're starting to get onto something here, because I feel like I joked about it, but we have to get BCH and we have to fix the money. That's the first thing. You have to, and you think about the amount of propaganda and bullshit and everything you have to get to. But then we are now in a fortunate position in that way where we already have a community that is both resilient to kind of propaganda and nonsense, but is also able to consider and see through these things, even if they have been very deeply embedded into them this whole time. So we've got to start with the money, but it's, I imagine, going to, as time goes on, turn into a bit of a movement in terms of like health and lifestyle and all the other, you know, scams that there are in the world,
man.
right?
I mean,
Politics,
that's one of the
history,
great
whatever.
things about like our community is very free thinking. We're critical thinkers. Yeah, sorry to cut you off. Yeah, no, that's what I love about it. I love these people, man. I love the fact that we can have these discussions, and yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sorry.
But I'm just saying, what we can do to lean into that a little bit, right? Because a lot of the value then from BCH, you know, convincing people to come on board, you have to find some way to get them interested, and the best way to do that is actually to combine it with something else that they're already concerned about, they're already interested in, they're already excited. So that's where I think there's a lot of potential, and maybe this podcast is a first step from this BCH podcast. Of course, the risk is that you then create division, which is why some of the listeners were not thinking, oh, Jeremy's going to do an off-topic episode. Like, let's just keep it about BCH. Let's not have people falling out over something, you know, controversial politically or whatever.
But I
at the
agree on
same,
most things, so yeah.
well, that's right.
For me, this I prior to the podcast, I did it on one premise, and this was that that Calin was going to be here, and this is because I have such respect for his brain, and it's a thing where you can have opinions. Like me, like that I'm a racist towards the nation of Great Britain. It's just a joke, you know. It's just a bantery joke. You can have all these opinions, but the fact that eating healthy is good, not abusing animals is good, going to other planets is good, being a nice, cool person that spreads positivity is good, freedom is good, having access to financial tools is good. All of these things that we all have in common and that we stand for and that BCH builds its power from, all of these are inside of every one of us. Even the Maxis, even Justin Bonds, even Adam Beck has this deep, deep inside their heart behind all of the bullshit, the lies, the corruption, and the intelligence connections and the money they have spent to turn off their brain and received in their pocket to cannibalize everything that they stand for and their own individual meanings. So everyone, we all have in common this belief in greatness and a great future for humanity. This is not some kind of I'm left or right. This is my politics. I love positivity. Everybody does this. The things that BCH works for is universal principles that you can find in every good lifestyle book, every religious text, every Buddhist text, everything. This is just great stuff. So I think that it's not hard to onboard people to Moria or to BCH in general because there are no controversial stuff. It's just, for us, it's just we want to give with the Moria, we want to give people that live in super nations that are not as lucky as me in capital strong Norway. I got a bank account for free when I was a child. I've been wondering, like, that's weird. The bank is a private company. Why would they give a child a free bank account? That's very strange. It's because everyone in Norway gets fucking rich. Or compared to the rest of the world, everybody takes a loan, big loan to buy property. That's also another scam. 2 billion people cannot do this, and it's not very hard to tell people why I wake up every day and use my computer as a weapon to spread good greatness and software in the world, because everybody knows and understands this goal of banking this 2 billion unbanked people, helping them use digital services when they don't even have a bank account, just going into a website and there's a free wallet there on Cauldron. So it's not hard because it's universal and everybody understands this in basically 5 seconds. So we are on the right track, guys.
Woo, well, that's really well said, man. Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
Well, with this unbanked people, then maybe that's where we can sort of head, as we're gonna need to wrap it up, not too far in the future. But this is this idea that it was kind of incepted into crypto in Bitcoin from the beginning, all these unbanked people and so forth. And obviously the benefit to both those individuals and also to humanity as a whole would be massive. You think of the amount of economic activity and intellectual capital that could be brought online for all of humanity by bringing those people out of that situation. Now, we're trying to do that with BCH, and maybe it's been lost a bit in the rest of crypto, but one of the reasons, aside from all the distractions, that I think people have struggled with that is, by definition, those people are the hard ones to reach. And you know, we're all here on this podcast for the exact reason that we're maybe not the ones who were difficult to reach and get that tooling and stuff too. I think there's been initiatives like FundMe's and so forth, Flipstarters, that people have done to get to those more inaccessible people, but it's so hard to create trust on the ground because they're also very fertile ground for scams and somebody to just, you know, like make busy work, right? To look like they're doing a lot of work, but they're maybe not actually reaching the people that need to be reached. And at the same time, it's not like we can all afford to just go, you know, investigate and set it all up ourselves on the ground, because we've all got everything else we're busy doing in our own lives, right? So what do we do to break through into some of those less explored areas of the world? Any thoughts?
I mean, for us, it's happened automatically. I talk to people almost every day from Nigeria. They make events, they print up merch, they do stuff and they spread. They teach each other how to use Cauldron and Moria inside of Cauldron, just by themselves. I'm amazed every single week by how this spreads just by word of mouth. We haven't spent $1 on marketing either of these two products, and it just spreads because people just pay each other because it's basically free and it's USD pegged. Every single country, even my own country of Norway, you think of it, oh, Norway is so freaking rich. Guess what? Our national currency is a fucking shitcoin. I'm so embarrassed by
Did it lose a lot of value or something?
Yeah, by a national monetary policy. Basically, every third year, boiled ham or just a cheese on the store, it's 50% the higher price. And people, they don't even recognize it because it's just week by week, just 10 cents more. So Norway is a high cost country, but it increases every single year, so that with the paycheck that you have, basically you have half the purchasing power as you had 10 years ago. Obviously, Norwegians are a capital strong people, so it's okay. But I'm thinking of people like my aunt, people that people that have worked their entire life for a pension. They worked 50 fucking years for a pension, grinded up money. They have money in their bank account to have a pension and have a nice life for one's sake. And what happens? Half of their money is fucking inflated since just 2020. What does that mean? It means that 25 years of their freaking life were deleted, robbed from them. They have robbed time. This shouldn't be possible. Time is the most valuable asset. And this has been robbed from great, hard-working people like my aunt.
Exactly. It's normal people, hardworking people. This is the thing that a lot of people don't get, is like this crypto movement. A lot of people think it's like the crypto boys are making money. It's like, no. And that's what excites me, is exactly that. It's so for the normal person. It's so that even my daughter can put €2 in and save it, and it's saved. It has that purchasing power. It also in the future. But the fact that this is happening, and it's not just Norway. I know Norway against the euro, it's been terrible, right? But this is something that's happening to all countries, to more or less, is that the pension is just being completely robbed through this inflation, and it is absolutely stolen. And this is something that for me is like, this is something that's so incredible about BCH, is offering people this ability to save in a money that it can't be robbed from them. And that is so important. And it's not about getting rich. It's about securing your time. All of those years and years of grind, it's securing that. And I think that's a really powerful point, Halvor. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the hardest for it. It affects the working class the hardest because these people don't have their money inside of capital markets, right?
Exactly.
They don't fucking have their money invested in.
Inflation is a regressive tax. It's the most regressive tax, but it's not called a tax, but it is.
Yeah,
that's the worst
they don't
hardest.
have their money in Apple stock, you know. They have it actually in
Exactly.
a bank account, which is super. But you can teach every single person on earth high level finance. This is not the way. We should instead have a non-predatory national currency, or preferably none at fucking all.
Man, I was just
Yeah.
looking at the Norwegian kroner versus the euro. It's lost a lot of value since 2020. You're right. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't want to see the chart.
I've got a work colleague that sold his
it looks like
shares.
a rug pull.
Is a
It looks like
Norwegian
a rug
company.
pull coin.
He sold it.
It
He's
looks
got
like a
krona. No,
It looks like a fucking rug pull.
Like
It's a
it looks
complete-
like
currency.
Zcash or something. Yeah, or
I've got
fucking
my
national
colleague still
currency.
holding this coin, and he's waiting for it to go up against the euro. I was like, dude, just sell this shit coin. And he's actually got in Germany. He's got an account where the Norwegian krona is being held there, and it's just trading. It's just crazy. Why would you hold it?
You guys know that Shadow Wizard number 4, Howard Kittelsen. He actually worked for the Norwegian Central Bank prior to us poaching him 4 months ago. So it's probably he that rugged the entire coin. No, I'm just joking. I'm really just joking. That's a joke.
So you've recruited the rug experts to give you a bit of extra advice at Calin.
No, he's not a rug. He's not a banker, you know. He's a hacker. He helped Dagger and I, and also Shadow Wizard 3, Ken Sivali, create the Quadrant Alpha way back in one weekend in 2023. So he's an OG. He's a really OG. He showed me Ethereum back in the day in 2016. He learned me how to use Linux. He's a great guy and a great man.
Yes.
He just needed money that's why he took the job in such a shitty, immoral establishment as the Norwegian Central Bank.
Well, we've all got to get paid. That's exactly what you're getting at there, I think. And I'm really glad to see that. On this call, we've got, 3 people that are full-time BCH, and maybe everybody else has like some kind of income stream or overlapping relations. You know, that's something I really think we can work better on within the community, is finding ways to get people who are already aligned with the mission, already in the BCH community, trying to get them that income stream so that they can go full time, because the difference is just massive, compounded. Like, I was so glad to see Fiendish run his flips fund me, and that's like a first step in that direction, and that's how we've just got to slowly build things up, you know. And it becomes increasingly just that we have just a completely separated economy, and then as BCH people are doing better, which I think we're already starting to see a little bit now that the price is not, you know, crashing and dying all the time. Like, other people around Bitcoin Cashers or around crypto people in general just notice, like, how is this guy not, you know, completely financially wrecked like I am or everyone else is? And then sort of the light goes on in their head, hopefully, right? That's the proof is only in the pudding, in terms of if you actually practice what you preach and last through the volatility until it's made a difference in your life, and then people start, what's going on here, you know?
Yeah, the proof is in the disgusting British pea pudding.
The blood pudding, mate. Ooh,
the blood pudding. That's actually great. That's actually great.
I was going to say, don't you leave the black pudding out of this. The black pudding is good. It stays. We like black pudding.
There's other way more disgusting British courses that we can rip on for hours. So,
yes. Well, I am missing the big breakfast.
Like Norway, we people know those dishes.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I will say that every autumn, me and my wife look forward to the new season of Great British Baking Show.
Yes, pick up some cooking tips. All right, forget about all this pasteurized milk, the conspiracy theorists here. That's what you actually need. Some mainstream TV telling you how to cook up your desserts. All right, well, we got a message to the community that we do on the show every single week. So I'm just kind of skip to the end, and you guys can give me your thoughts. What do you think the BCH community needs to hear? Does anybody want to go first?
Sure, I'll go first. Yeah, take care of your health. Number one. If you're interested in mineral bouncing, go to Life Labs on YouTube. I've been making videos for like 10 years now on that subject, longer than anyone. a fantastic resource for that is actually also Clark Engelbert. He was a client of mine about 8 years ago, and now he's the most popular mineral bouncer in the world. Some of his views on X get like hundreds of thousands of views. Very proud of him. They grow up so fast, But yeah, take care of your health, and I think Bitcoin Cash is in a good place. Find how to make Bitcoin Cash work for you. I think Mori is a great example of that. Like that's a tool I'm actually able to use to help secure my capital. So figure out how it can actually affect you and how you can use it to improve your life. That's what I would say.
All right, Halvor, you're next.
Yeah. Get smart. Find God. Use BCH. Free Roger Ver. Make babies. Colonize the fucking galaxy. We are going to make it.
Drink raw milk.
Drink raw milk. All right, Calin.
Oh man, I can't. It's hard to follow up with this. Great health plus colonizing the galaxy and reproduction. I mean, value freedom. Value your own personal freedom. Be free with yourself. Within reason. Like, don't offend people around you, but just don't be afraid of freedom. Like, try to really understand what that means. Personal liberty. Make that a priority for yourself if you can, within reason. I mean, don't create enemies around yourself. Sometimes you might live in a more difficult system, but I don't know. Like, my whole thing is about personal freedom. So, including intellectual freedom, freedom of speech, financial freedom. I don't know. Just these are important things. But yeah, you guys already said the most important stuff. So that's all.
That's so bad because you are the smartest in this entire room. So
no, I don't think so. I think you are. Don't you build rockets? You're like literally a rocket scientist, aren't you?
You have to be smart to
It's
be a
not brain
rocket
surgery. It's not node development. That's got to be the new phrase. It's not,
scientist.
it's not
You have to
node
build
development.
rockets. That's easy.
Fiendish, do you have some thoughts for us?
Yeah, so I think the community is in a great place right now. There's so much more positivity than there was in the past, and I love being part of this community and love seeing that everything that's going on. So I'm really, again, as I've said, thanks to everyone who funded the Bitcoin Cash OG. I think this is a really important to help with that and to keep that, make sure that all the Bitcoin Cash progress, the products, the people, the community is really lighted out there. As I said back at Bliss, like for me, what I just think the Bitcoin Cash community is full of great engineers and incredibly smart people that focused on getting these perfect products out. And what I want to see is just ever more failure. So just bring it out there. And I think that Sayoshi Nakamorio is really the legend that everyone should aspire to be, because the guy is fantastic. He's just building and building, and he's putting stuff out there. And of course, he's having lots of failures and lots of mistakes, and that's part of the process. But then he's actually delivering more than almost anyone else. And in the end, he lands really good products. And that's not because he just had this great idea and did that. He had lots of good ideas, and he found his way. So don't be afraid to fail. Get your product out there. Get feedback. Is it really high value, like Moria USD, which I know many people use to secure the capital, as Luke said. So just get it out there, get that feedback, fail, learn, reiterate, and don't be afraid. So yeah, but keep up the positive momentum, guys, because where we're at right now is fantastic, and BCH is so forward thinking today, and I love being part of it. So thank you.
And go out there and troll a Bitcoin maxi today.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah, it's so lonely. I feel like I'm the only one doing it every day.
I got Peter Todd responded. He said 10K and he'll show my meme coin.
Oh, what a loser. What
a loser.
It wasn't double the price though. It was only 5K for that Solana one. It must be because
now he knows he can get the money. Now he's
exponential.
Like, oh,
Yeah, exactly.
These people can be bought for the lowest. I laugh of the low amount. I thought they were so rich people.
I know. I thought the same. 5,000 to completely destroy any credibility that you had.
Yeah. You know the reason prior is because they have no credibility from prior. So that's no pun intended.
Over the weekend, I think actually like Friday night, I got a message on Telegram from someone offering to buy my username. And they were offering to buy it in ton, but they offered, I think it was like $27,000 US for it. I was like, go fuck yourself. I'm not selling it, not for a shit coin like that.
Yeah.
Damn, that's
wow.
That's a pretty good paycheck.
Maybe soon now you can just pump it into Thorchain and immediately convert it to MUSD,
But do you think they were going to try and buy it to then like sabotage BCH, or you think they just really like that name and they wanted to have it for themselves?
I assume it was for sabotage. Like, it's a name I came up with when I was like 13. Like, and it's an alias that I use pretty actively. So there's no reason, and it's not crypto related. There's no reason why someone would actually want that in my mind. So yeah, I would assume
it's probably more a convoluted scam.
The CIA are working their way in. Look, you know, they're finding their
Testing the waters. They had their
Okay.
interns first contact us and then see. I don't know.
Dead set. No, everybody should honestly be, you know, a little bit on alert. Well, but here's the difficult thing, right? Is because it's important that the BCH community stays paranoid, but at the same time, if everybody goes full paranoid, then that will break down all the, you know, trust and momentum and growth that we have. So it's a fine line that we do have to walk, because there are people out there trying to sabotage and blow things up, but at the same time, we can't let it fall apart into everybody pointing fingers at each other. So
yeah, exactly, and that's fine. But the way everyone should be acting is like as really friendly. And even if someone's like new, it's like you can be friendly. There's no point in showing your paranoia, but it's absolutely 100% okay to be in the back of your mind thinking that's a Fed, and that person wants to wreck BCH. Because I think with that mentality, you're always going to think like, what's the worst thing that could happen here? Which allows you to still interact with people in a very high trust manner while not being a naive, blue-eyed victim.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with having blue eyes, guys.
No, definitely not.
I got a dip, guys. I only had 2 hours, so thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on, Colin. Godspeed.
All right, we're just signing off. Last couple of things.
Yes, you know
it. All right, last couple of things. The podcast listener survey, like we talked about, at bitcoincashpodcast.com/survey. I had a look at some of the submissions. We were already getting a few, so that's good. But I would love to get more. Obviously, the bigger data size sample set, the more representative it is. So bitcoincashpodcast.com/survey, and also the BCH bullet.substack.com. Shout out to our FundMe contributors. We're only one BCH off finishing that. Majamal Selu, Jeremy is made of whatever profits are made of. Molecular, the show we love. At Cash Stamps, keep building and broaching. Erdogan Talk, economics writer. Big Hair, love the show, love your hair. Milton Friedman, Purely Peer, purelypeer.cash. Discover the thrill of quest hunting, find hidden cash drops, and collect BCH. Ryan Giffen, keep it up, boys. DGN and FurQ, fresh hardcore BCH rap anthem coming at you. The Green Comeback Kids, get it at https://nwb.cash. And I forgot to put on the slide Cash Dragon, pump it up as well. Supporter appreciation, our donators, our patrons Ricky and Kyle, and our sponsors General Protocols. Check out bchbull.com. Start Guide FAQ and links are at bitcoincashpodcast.com. And for anybody who listened to the end, if you have enjoyed this episode of the podcast, which was obviously a bit of a different tangent, reach out and let me know. Or if you hated it as well, if you're at least dedicated enough to listen to the end, because I know we're obviously not going to turn the BCH podcast into general chit chat, you know, like every other podcast in the world. We're going to keep it focused on, you know, BCH. But if people like this and think it's worth throwing in there once in a while, I'm open to that. So you can definitely let me know on that. That's basically it, I think. Final shout outs. Luke, do you have anything you want to give a special shout out to, or where people, I know you already talked about the mineral balancing, anything else?
Shout out to all our rockstar devs.
Oh, thank you. Not you. Yeah. Not me, but the other ones. Yeah.
Shout out Jason. Shout out Bitcoin Cash Autist.
Yeah, man. They've been Jason and them, and both of them have been working hard lately. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm ready to roll for 1 minute blocks next year.
It's already fired up.
All right.
Already.
Let's fucking push that shit, dude. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Come on.
Any shout outs?
I want to do a big shout out to all the contributors to the Bitcoin Cash OG accounts. If you're not following Bitcoin Cash OG at Twitter, x.com, do that straight away, and let's make that the biggest BCH portal account on x.com. But I want to shout out BCH Podcast donations, 98 Emerging Regions, Molecular, Abla, F Shine Top, and Cash Dams. Steve Turman, you're all legends. Thank you so much for your contributions to make this, the BCH account that everyone's gonna follow for positive vibes and PG-13 commentary on the ongoings of the community. So thank you.
Amazing. Calin, any last mentions from you?
Oh, well, I hadn't thought of any. Who should I mention?
Shout out to Fiendish. He's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to all the little people out there. I don't know. not that anyone's little. But it didn't occur to me who to mention. Who hasn't been mentioned? Imagine your username. Thanks a lot for over the years being a great guy and having a voice of reason on many things. John Fukeball for starting Electron Cash and making it like the Swiss Army knife wallet. Who else can I mention that it hasn't been mentioned? Electron Cash. Yeah, I guess that's it. That's all that comes to my mind right now.
All right, Jet, any final shout outs? And I'm going to give my shout out to Callisti for working with me on Celine, because he's always just putting up great work, and we've got more stuff coming in the pipeline there. All right, that's it. Thank you all for listening. Until next time.
You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up, don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Up, 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 up.